everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kendall and some of you may know me from TikTok from some of my travel videos that went viral. First of all, thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna be posting a lot more here, hopefully once or twice a week, giving you a lot more travel tips, manifestation tips, and just tips in general to how you can work for yourself and live your dream life. Alright, so this has been a highly requested video. People have been asking me this question all over TikTok, asking me how I was able to make traveling my career. So let's just jump right in and get to it. First, I'm going to start off by telling you my story of how I was able to make traveling my full-time career. So let's start from the beginning when I first started college. I have always loved traveling, and it's always been in my blood. And I didn't really start traveling fully until my freshman year of college when I lived in Paris, France. I did a study abroad program through USC that allowed me to live in Paris, France for the year and then transfer to USC after. Then after that first year, I transferred to USC, University of Southern California in Los Angeles, if you don't know, and I studied international relations, global business marketing, and communications design. Studying that major also allowed me to travel. Going into my senior year, I studied abroad in South Africa in Cape Town and learned how to code and make apps, and also worked for a really cool app called Over. During my time at USC, I also learned a lot of valuable skills and worked for really cool companies like Tinder. So going to college at USC and getting those internships and networking with the community there really helped build a solid foundation for my passions for traveling and for the skills I needed in order to make traveling my career. However, I get this question a lot also. Do you need to go to college in order to travel, to make traveling your career? There's obviously a lot of different opinions out there, and I'm not going to tell you which to do. That is your own decision. For me, college was really important because I was able to network with a lot of the people there and get really valuable experience at the different internships I had. However, I don't necessarily think you need to go to college in order to get that experience. You just need to jump right in and get that experience from the get-go. All right, continuing the story. I graduated from college in 2018, and I immediately started my full-time job as the director of marketing for an app kind of like TikTok. I was working there until October, and the entire time I was working there, I just realized I did not like working for somebody else. It's not like that I didn't enjoy the company, not that I didn't enjoy my coworkers or my bosses. I just did not like working for somebody else's dreams. I've had so many passions for starting my own businesses in manifestation and spirituality and traveling that I really wanted to try and go for it and do my own thing. I also just was cringing at the thought of having to work a 9 to 5, 5 out of 7 days of the week for the rest of my life, like sitting at a job for 40 hours a week for the rest of my life, getting only 2 weeks of vacation a year. That just doesn't sound like living life to me. For me, I wanted to create a life that was on my terms, that I could enjoy, and it's not like I have to take a vacation from it because I enjoy doing my job, and my job doesn't become this thing where I hate waking up every morning to go to. And so those desires became the fuel to start me to figure out, okay, how can I actually work on my own terms, quit my job, and make this happen? For a couple months, I was actually really scared. Like, I didn't want to quit my job because, you know, it's a stable income. I was making a lot of money. I negotiated a really good salary, which, if you're interested, I can teach you how to negotiate salary. The job I had was amazing. I was making a lot of money. I was living in an amazing apartment in LA, and it was just very stable. But I still had that desire to work for myself. For a while, I was really scared to take the leap, but finally in October, I remember the day, October 5th, I came into work and I was like, today is the day. I quit my job. That night, I booked a flight to Bali, and I left in 2 days on a Monday with one backpack and no plans. I packed everything I needed for a 2-month trip in one small backpack. You could see here how crazy it was. It was so heavy. And I had no plans of where I was going to stay. I had a rough itinerary in mind, but I just went with 0 plans. I totally could have quit my job and immediately started looking for work and saving money, which does logically sound like the smart thing to do, right? But for me, I felt like I needed a break. I never got a vacation right after college. I literally jumped in right to work. From literally 5 years old until 22, I had been working and going to school for my entire life with 0 breaks. So I decided that it was in my best interest to take some time for myself to really discover what I wanted to do, who I am, and What does that look like? How can I combine my passions into a career? I honestly suggest everyone take a gap year, maybe not a gap year, but like a gap few months from after they graduate before they start a job, just so that they can learn about themselves, learn what they want to do, meet new people, and just experience life before they have to go into the full-time job. But anyways, I decided to do a 2-month backpacking trip through Southeast Asia, and it was the best decision I have ever made. During that time, I really challenged myself to be completely on my own while traveling and really figure out what I wanted to do during the day and in life in general. During that time, I met so many new friends. I had so many new experiences. I traveled through Hong Kong. I traveled to Bali and met so many friends through there. I went on a trip with strangers to an island and had the best time of my life. I went to Thailand, played with elephants at an elephant sanctuary, rode motorcycles for hours among Pai Canyon and Chiang Mai in Thailand, and just literally had the most life-changing experience. I literally can't describe it as anything else but life-changing. During my time there, I wasn't doing any work. So I literally just took those 2 months to focus on myself, focus on self-growth, focus on meditation and going inwards. And during that time, I actually manifested a lot. So while I was there, I decided, okay, I really want to go back to LA after this trip and manifest making a marketing agency. So I would imagine during my meditations that clients would come to me. I imagined finding clients that would pay me X amount of money a month to help them with social media marketing, to help them with graphic design for their website or their apps, to help them with just user growth in general. And I painted this picture in my mind, a very vivid picture of what I wanted to do right when I got back. And I let it go. I simply released it to the universe, released it to God to let them figure out how that's gonna come to me. And I showed up for myself by focusing on myself and my self-growth. The minute I got back to LA, the old company, which I had just quit, called me up and were like, hey, we wanna have a meeting with you. We really want you to work for us again. And I was like, oh no, I really do not wanna work full time again. That's not what I wanna do. But I was honestly afraid that if they offered me a full-time job, I would take it because I didn't necessarily have an opportunity in front of me. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna manifest that it's gonna be a consulting opportunity. I'm not gonna have to work full time. So right when I walked in there, before I said anything, they were like, hey, we wanna hire you back, but we know that you don't really wanna work full time. So we wanna hire you as a consultant. We're gonna pay you the exact amount you are making full time, and you don't have to come into the office and you don't have to work as many hours. Can you believe what I was feeling? Literally had manifested the perfect situation for myself, better than I had originally imagined. And that is literally how the law of attraction and manifestation works when you do it properly. So after I started working for them as my first client, I started to get more and more opportunities. My old manager from Tinder actually reached out and said he had quit Tinder and started his own company called Zitsticka. He reached out to me and said, this new company is launching. It's a really cool pimple patch with micro darts that you can put into your face, blah, 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 the details. You can look them up if you want. And it was a 3-person company at the time, and they said, hey, we really need your help in launching this and doing influencer marketing. Because I'm an influencer and I also have done the business side, they really wanted to get my expertise in how to get the perfect combination of influencer marketing and social media marketing. So I was like 100% yes, I am so down, and they hired me and I worked basically from home for a couple months for them, and I manifested the exact pay I wanted. And on top of that, I actually also manifested a third client, again, without trying. I did not reach out to any businesses. I did not even try to look for new clients. They came to me because I was in a state of flow and abundance, and I attracted them to me. So essentially within 1 month of after coming back from Bali and spending time on myself, I was able to manifest 3 clients and getting paid 3 to 4 or 5 times more than I was getting paid full time, and I was working from home, able to travel around the US, and able to work on my own terms. Now, I actually didn't start full-time traveling until 2020 this year. I could have traveled with my different consulting jobs that I had, but I was really enjoying staying in LA at the time, so I decided to stay in my apartment in LA for the entirety of 2019, and I just traveled around the United States, went to Mexico a few times, went to New York, went to Chicago on a paid influencer trip, and just enjoyed my time in Hollywood because I wasn't really done with Hollywood life yet. But nearing the end of 2019, I was done. I was like, I am over this Hollywood lifestyle. I'm done with LA and I want to get out and travel. Bali is really calling me and I want to go back to Bali. But before I decided to move full-time to Bali, I needed to convince my boyfriend to do the same. After months and months of trying to convince him, he actually ended up coming to his own conclusion that he wanted to quit, and he quit in about August 2019. And then we decided to go to Southeast Asia and test out living in Bali before we decided to actually move there. So we went on a trip for about a month and a half after he quit his job to Vietnam, Bali, and Australia. We kind of just wanted to test the waters and stay in Bali for about 3 weeks before we decided if that was somewhere we wanted to move. Well, obviously, we really loved Bali. We met so many amazing people there, and we got in so many good connections that we just decided, yes, this is the place that we want to be. So we decided to fly home to LA. I was still living in my apartment at the time. I was literally paying for an apartment in LA, and I wasn't even living there. So I had to come back to LA to figure out the details of how am I going to be able to make this work. And this was one of those things, again, that I had to let the universe figure out. I couldn't stress about the details. I had to just put it out there with the law of attraction and manifestation that this is what I wanted. I wanted to move to Bali in 2020. I was literally in a lease for another year at my apartment. If I were to break that lease, I would have had to pay thousands of dollars. So I wanted to figure out how I could break my lease without having to pay all of that money. And I just wanted to figure out a seamless way to be able to move to Bali with no obstacles. And so we came back. We really worked on figuring out how we were going to make this lifestyle work in Bali. I manifested being able to find someone to replace me in my apartment. I didn't have to pay any extra fees. We manifested finding a really affordable place to stay in Bali. We were literally paying less than $300 a month each. And then we also manifested starting a new business that was bringing us a lot of money a month, almost $10,000 a month in profits. So after we figured everything out, I moved out of my apartment, moved everything back to my hometown in Huntington Beach, which I'm very grateful for that I get to do. And we booked a super cheap flight and headed to Bali in the beginning of January of 2020. So a lot of people ask, like, how was I able to live in Bali and work full time? Well, let me give you the breakdown. Bali is a really affordable place to live, as with other countries in Southeast Asia like Vietnam, Philippines, and Thailand. We were paying about less than $300 a month for rent each. Food, you can get food for as cheap as $1 a meal, and it's like a really good meal. And just living expenses in general out there are really affordable compared to living in places like LA or New York or anywhere else in the States, as a matter of fact. So since we run a small business and I have my consulting agency, it makes a lot of sense to live somewhere where the living expenses are really cheap so that you don't have to put a lot of money into that and that you can save money and put it back into your business. So that was essentially the main reason we moved to Bali, not just because it's fun and beautiful paradise, but also because we wanted to save money at the beginning of starting our business. And at the beginning of 2020, I was also starting my manifestation business called Dreamers and Doers Club. Unfortunately, I had to change the name due to some legal reasons, so now everything is encapsulated under my name, Kendall Furman, and I still have my manifestation and mindfulness business just under my name. But anyways, we were able to figure out a way to be able to work online and be anywhere in the world and make more money than we would have if we were living at home paying a bunch of rent. So let me break down the costs for you. All right, so if you're getting paid $55,000 a year, you're making about $3,500 a month after taxes are taken out. You're spending $2,000 a month on rent, and you have to add expenses and food and all of this. You're barely breaking even. You're not making any money to save and be able to save for your future. So on the flip side, I was making about $10,000 a month after taxes in Bali. I was paying about $300 a month in rent, and my expenses were probably no more than $500 a month on the food and the excursions and the fun things I was paying for. So when you break that down, I'm literally only paying $800 a month for living expenses and making $10,000 a month. So I still have $9,200 a month left over for savings and for any other fun things I want to do. As you can see, the difference is crazy. Here you're almost in a debt, and here you're actually making a ton of money. And that is just my example. There are some people who are making way more money than me, a couple $100,000 a month even, which is absolutely insane, and I will get there one day, but I'm growing and learning, and I want to help you grow and learn at the same time. So that is why I am making this video, to make it more clear and to make it more aware that you can make money while traveling and you can save more money while you're traveling, because it's so much cheaper to live in a different country. And you can just make way more money online by working for other people. Okay, now let's get into the ways you can make money online. Yes, I just told you my entire story of how I was able to do it. And I give you the monetary breakdown of how much you're making if you're living in San Francisco and LA, or if you're living abroad in a different country. Now, there are so many ways to do this online. So what I do is marketing consulting for various clients. Me and my boyfriend also started a marketing agency to help clients with their Facebook ads. I also do TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube collaborations where brands pay me to post. And on top of that, we have a few online businesses where we sell various products and make money from that. Now, those aren't the only ways to make money. A few other ways you can make money is being a freelancer on Upwork or Fiverr. These are really great options if you're just getting into a new skill and you want to get some experience. You can apply to be a consultant or a freelancer for various brands or entrepreneurs or people who are looking for some extra help on their business. Some things you can do is video editing, content creation, social media marketing and management. You can literally plan out people's Instagram feeds. So if you are someone who's in college and you're really good at making your Instagram look great, brands will literally hire you to make their Instagram look great. Some other things you can do is be a virtual assistant. So in the past, me and my boyfriend have hired virtual assistants to help us with managing our emails from customers and with replying to DMs on Instagram. Some other things you can do is copywriting, which is writing the copy for people's websites, Instagram posts, articles, stuff like that. You can also be a freelance journalist or blogger. I almost forgot, some other amazing things you can do, which I met a lot of people doing this while traveling, is you can be an English teacher. So you can go to certain countries like Korea, Japan, China, or any other country, and they are hiring people to be English tutors for their kids and students there. So this couple I met, they were English tutors for kids in China. They weren't actually living in China, they were actually living in Bali at the time. And they would do virtual Zoom English classes. This is before coronavirus hit, by the way. They were using Zoom to teach students at certain schools how to speak English. And they were making about $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And again, living in Bali, that's a lot of money because you're only spending about $1,000 a month or less. So you're still making a good profit. So a few ways that you can make the transition from working full-time to working for yourself a bit easier are start working for yourself before you quit your job. Yep, that's right. You can work multiple jobs at the same time and your company doesn't have to know. Now, obviously, don't go and work for somebody's competitor. You can probably get fired for that. But if you're taking the skills you already know from your job and applying it to other companies that aren't affiliated with your company, that is 100% okay, and you don't have to let them know about it. You can do this in your free time when you get home, or if you have some off time at work, you can be doing this at work as well. As long as you're still maintaining a good relationship with your current job and you're not slacking on your duties for your current job, then I suggest going that route. What I did was obviously I quit right away and I went for it without even having any plan. And yes, that works for some people, but you have to be a really powerful manifestor. You have to be very confident in your abilities, and not everyone is in that place to do that. Not everyone is also in that financial place to do that. For me, I saved up a ton of money before I made the jump. I saved pretty much half of my paycheck every time I received it. So I had a good amount of money saved up as like a backup fund. So that's another thing. If you're gonna make the leap, you wanna make sure you have a backup fund to support you for at least 6 months during your freelance journey. But if you don't have the finances to back you up, and if you aren't necessarily confident enough to make the leap, you can get started before you quit your job while you're still working your job. That way, you don't have to be stressed about how am I gonna make money, how am I gonna make this work. You can literally prep yourself and train yourself to do this while you're getting paid from your full-time job. And then once your other company, your freelancing, is taking off, you can quit your job and start traveling then. But it's best to obviously make a plan and prep and make sure you are ready to do this, because there is a lot more that goes into this than just jumping on a plane and going for it. Which it's possible, I did it obviously, but I'm not going to tell everyone to do that. That would be irresponsible of me as a consultant and as a entrepreneur and businesswoman. I don't want to encourage anyone to take risks that are really stupid. You need to take smart risks, and you need to prep and plan and be prepared and make sure you are in a place financially and emotionally and mentally to be able to handle a freelance job. A lot of people also ask me, do I need to work a full-time job right after college, or can I go directly into freelancing? So yes and no. I think it really depends on the person. I personally had a full-time job for 6 months before I went freelancing and consulting, and it wasn't that I learned very specific valuable lessons there, because I had already learned all that stuff in my past internships, but it was really great on my resume to have that I was the director of marketing for a consumer app before I start consulting. So now when I talk to brands, I can basically validate myself and say, hey, I was a director of marketing for this app. I helped them raise $2 million for their fund, and I've taken those skills and I can help you do the same. Yes, having a job can teach you really valuable life skills, but if you already have those skills, you could technically jump right into freelance. However, companies do like to look at your resume and see what have you done, what have you accomplished for other companies. So if you're having a hard time right after college finding people to hire you as a freelancer because you don't have as much experience, then I would suggest getting a full-time job just for like 6 months or up to a year. It really does go by fast. 6 months is so short, you can do it. Getting that experience, getting those stats on your resume, showing what you were able to do, it's like a badge of honor. Like you can then go to any company and say, hey, look what I did for this company. I did X, Y, and Z. I helped them raise this much money. I redesigned their website. I did this. I helped them grow this many followers, whatever it is you did for them. Then you can show that to other brands and have them hire you as a consultant and pay you more, and you work from home. So if you're just graduating college or if you're entering senior year and you're not sure what you want to do, I would just suggest getting as much experience as you can while you're in college and immediately right after college before you jump into the freelance consulting world. Because it is hard, I'm not gonna lie. It's not as stable as a full-time job, and there's ups and downs, and it's stressful. And you need to be able to handle that, and having a full-time job will teach you the skills you need to learn, and you get to network and meet people, and have that on your resume is just very, very important. All right, so there's so much more I could talk about in this video, but I think I need to break it up into more videos. I also need to get into the legal side of things, the LLC, the taxes, how do you manage all of that? And trust me, I am still learning myself. They did not teach me that in college. They don't teach you real life stuff in college, so I am having to learn it for myself, by myself after college, and that's why I'm here to help you learn all of this real life stuff so that you don't have to freak out and figure out how to do it on your own. Alright, so that was my story on how I was able to make traveling my full-time career. And again, I want to go deeper into these topics, so I'm going to be making more videos in the future about this in the coming weeks. So please, if you want to learn more about this, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications bell so that you can learn more about how to make traveling your career, how to start your own business, how to live on your own terms, and manifest your dream life. That is what I'm here for. That is literally my passion, is teaching younger people how they can take control in their lives, step into their power, and fully live the lives they want to live without having to lower themselves to society's expectations and standards. You can follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of motivational content on there. You can follow me on TikTok, hopefully if it's not banned yet. I post a lot of good travel videos and manifestation videos. YouTube, obviously here, I'm going to be posting more in-depth videos that go into detail on how you can actually do this. And also make sure to check out my website, kendallfurman.com. I have a lot of free resources like a free manifestation guide. And last thing, I know I'm talking a lot, is I am starting a women's coaching program for girls in college who are just about to graduate. I was just in your position 2 years ago, and I want to be able to help you with the tools and things that I have learned in the past 2 years to be able to transition from college life to post-grad life. I am here for you, and I want to help you make that transition smooth, and I am starting a group coaching program. It's coming out soon, so please stay tuned. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If you like this video, please give it a like and comment below if you have any questions for me. Anyways, it is time for me to go. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification, and I will catch you all next time.